Something like that.
What's up, fight fans? This is the Combat Connection, and it is UFC 321 Fight Week. I'm Brett Cagle, joined as always by Eddie Law, and we've got a loaded show for you guys today. First, we're going to get into the UFC Fight Night card from last weekend, and we're going to review the card between De Ridder and Brendan Allen. Eddie, I called it a trap fight on last week's show. I didn't necessarily pick Brendan Allen, but this was a trap fight when we look at it all together. I think when we look at this in the rearview mirror here in the next couple of years, this is going to be some of the worst matchmaking in terms of a fight accepted by De Ridder that we've seen in a long time. I did not like the move from the time it was announced of him moving back in the rankings, and we saw why last weekend. How surprised were you by Brendan Allen? And I think this is really a detriment to De Ridder because if a guy like Anthony Hernandez can beat Brendan Allen, a very similar fighter, what would Fluffy Hernandez have done to RDR and some of these other grapplers up the rankings? So, Eddie, what did you make about Brendan Allen's performance here, and were you disappointed in RDR?
I was very disappointed in RDR, man. I've been touting that dude since the one championship days. He was a killer with one championship, but he did something that he kind of did in those two fights. So he only lost two fights in his whole career, or three now. But two fights at one championship, right? Both to the same guy. And sorry, bro, I don't know how to. Thank you. There you go. The Brett can say shit better than I can, but or you can say shit better than I can. But you know, I have a hard time saying he quit. I will say, like, maybe he went a little too hard or a lot too hard and kind of stuck to the wrong game plan and everything. With Brendan Allen, Brendan wasn't afraid of his grappling whatsoever. And you saw, RDR was balls out, just trying to get him down, trying to dominate the ground positions. He did a bit in that first round. And then after that, it was weird. He kind of ran out of gas after that first round. Like he looked slow, he looked sluggish and everything. I was expecting a ton of he was this and that and the other coming into the fight. I don't know. I didn't see it. Did you see any excuses or anything?
No, I didn't. But one thing I did see was Bilal Muhammad after that first round. At the end of the first round, Brendan Allen won a grappling exchange and was able to reverse it and gain top control in the back half of that round. And Bilal Muhammad really hammered home in the corner in between rounds. He was saying, you can beat him in the grappling. You saw it get back on. And he really controlled the fight on the ground against RDR for the rest of the entire contest. It was dominant. And in my opinion, it was the best win of Brendan Allen's career and puts him back into contention at the highest point since his loss to Sean Strickland a few years ago. So for Brendan Allen right now, the sky's the limit. I like the names that he called out after following the victory. But for RDR, where was this kickboxing everybody's talking about? Everybody's talking about him being this Dutch kickboxer. All I've ever seen is the jiu-jitsu, right? Yeah. And Eddie, maybe going back and looking back, the Bo Nickel, obviously, that was a big knockout, right? But he looked not defensively sound against Robert Whittaker in that contest before this one. And Eddie, I think if we look back on his career, the one that really should stick out to us was the Gerald Meerschaert fight. He struggled with Gerald Meerschaert a little bit too much than, considering what a lot of us thought his potential and hype would be coming in. We thought he'd run through a guy like Gerald Meerschaert, ends up going multiple rounds with him. Gerald, in my opinion, is a lesser version of the Brendan Allens and the Anthony Fluffy Hernandezes of the world, has similar skills, just not as good at them, not quite as sharp, in my opinion. And he struggled with a guy like Meerschaert. Maybe that this different jiu-jitsu matchup stylistically is going to be the problem for Reinier De Ridder moving forward.
Here's the thing that bothered me the most. In the kickboxing, I was like, all right, dude, start throwing. And clearly the ground's not working. Start throwing. And he wasn't. And it was just the weirdest fucking. I was like, okay, he's got to be sick. The wake up was shit. Something's wrong because he has no gas. And then when you go back and look at his other fights, it's quite possible we oversold Reinier De Ridder, or he oversold whatever. It might be, and I'm not going to call him a fraud because I hate that fucking term when it comes to athletes. Like, these guys put their lives, and girls put their lives into it. You're not a fraud, all right? There's just different fucking levels to this shit. So people need to take that fraud word out of their fucking vocabulary. But I will say this. His jiu-jitsu is not as good as we thought, because Brendan Allen's jiu-jitsu is not as good as people think. It's not. Y'all can say whatever you want. Brendan's a fucking this and that. No.
Anthony Hernandez did to Allen what Allen did to DeRitter.
Fluffy fucks up Brandon Allen. Fluffy mauls Reinier DeRitter. So, and look, it's a huge win for Brandon Allen. The fact that he took a chance on the short notice and everything. And like you said, he's back in the title. He's back in title contention for all I give a shit. Now, he's not above it whatsoever, but he's top 3 right there. He's right there for it. And it is what it is, man. The biggest loser, obviously, Reinier DeRitter. Go away for about a year. Don't come back for a minute. Just fucking, retool your shit, man. You got work to do.
I want to get 2 quick points on DeRitter. I want to get your opinion on. Do you think that he accepted position on the bottom too much in this fight? Like originally in the second and third rounds when he was getting taken down, he was throwing up the triangles. He was looking for submissions. Do you think that he, sat there in the guard trying for submissions that weren't going to work and gassed himself out defensively in those in between rounds? What do you think about that, Eddie? I thought he accepted position on the ground too much.
You know what? There is such a thing as being too damn confident in your ground skills. Way too confident. Now, I always go back to this same example. Ian Entwistle was a dude. He was in the UFC years ago. He was my first UFC interview, right? Like legit UFC guy that actually said, hit him up and I got an interview with him and everything. And all he ever did, every single fight, I shit you not, go YouTube this guy, all right? All he ever did was fly in inverted looking for your hooks. He barely threw strikes, seriously, barely ever threw strikes like on purpose, right? Unless they made him stand on the feet, then he was like, shit, I got to fight. Other than that, it was always diving for legs, looking for heel hooks, right? Way too confident heel hook game, and it bit him on the ass. Clearly, he's not in the UFC anymore, and you never even heard of him. But same thing over near DeRitter. All right, cool. I'll take the better position. I'll find a way here. And when he fucking couldn't, there was that. Brandon Allen, he's good on the ground. I'm not saying he's shit. He's not. Right, but he's not as good as people think he is now. I guarantee you, Fluffy fucks him up. Okay, but having Belal Muhammad in your corner, Belal, all apologies, bro. It is what it is. The best fucking hold down guy at 170 or 180. Yeah, 170. He's the best. He's the best at it. I mean, who else at 170? Maybe in Islam now, but who's better at? Who's better than him at 170?
Identify that an opponent can be held down. It's Belal Muhammad.
If I needed a wet blanket somebody, you know where I'm going? Fucking Chicago. I'm going to go train with Belal Muhammad. Not a diss, Belal. Not a diss. It is a legitimate strategy. People just don't like it. Fuck them. I don't care. I don't mind it. But here's the thing. He had Belal Muhammad in his corner. You're right. After that first round, Belal was probably in his face. It's like, hey, dog, he didn't do nothing to me. That was supposed to be his best round? Shit, son, let's go. Hold his ass down. Make him your bitch, and then slap him around a little bit. And honestly, he made as much as people, I know it was the corner that threw the towel, but he made Reinier quit. He made RDR quit. That's an awful look for a guy that was railroading motherfuckers 4 fights in to his career. So big ups for Brandon Allen, man. Now he's gonna have a big ass fight next, and it's on him to make good on it.
Yeah, and one last thing I want to get from you on this one, Eddie, like for the Reinier DeRitter, right? We see it in the sport of football all the time. Alabama goes and beats Georgia. The next week they lose to Vanderbilt. There's the letdown after the big win. He just beat Bo Nickel, big stage. Even bigger stage, he beats Robert Whittaker, his first former world champion, under his resume. And now he's fighting a guy ranked 7th in the division who we talked about stylistically might be one of the harder matchups for him. Did you see Reinier DeRitter in there have the same motivation or confidence that he had in the previous 2 fights? I just can't believe it was as easy for him to get up for this one as it was for the previous 2.
You're talking about Brandon or you're talking about Reinier?
I'm talking about Reinier DeRitter.
Okay, so
when you're going up against a former champion in Robert Whittaker, right? Or
okay, I got you.
A contender matchup with Bo Nickel. Those are easy. Those are easy matchups for you to get ready for, right? Like Alabama doesn't have to get ready for Georgia, but when they play Vanderbilt, you got to get the boys going because they just look at them like, oh, well, that's just Vanderbilt, right? He's looking at Brandon like that's just the 7th ranked guy in the division. I'm better on the feet. I'm better on the ground. I'm longer. But in reality, it was the trap fight for him, just like a game in the SEC against a lower opponent might be after, a big win the previous week.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. And honestly, if you want an easy game against a big name school, Dabo Swinney is the worst fucking head coach in college football. Fuck him. You're terrible, Dabo. Debo? I don't know what your name is, Dabo. Who the fuck named your kid Dabo? The fuck is a Dabo? Anyway, sorry, I can't stand Dabo Swinney. He's a cunt. Anyway. Sorry, we're gonna get demonetized on this video. Sorry, folks. Anyway, there's a list of people that I get my blood.
I just think it was hard for DeRitter to get himself psyched up for this one like the previous 2.
I don't know. Did I mention this before in the preview last week? The Luke Rockhold-itis, you can get that very quickly. Luke Rockhold-itis. All right. Second match with Michael Bisping. The first time around, he fucked Michael Bisping up, took him down, choked him out, game time. That second fight, I mean, it was he was defending his fucking title. Yeah. Michael Bisping walks to the cage. He's looking like fucking Kyler Murray out there, dude. Always just like with his bullshit. Just, I guess I'm doing this now. Man, this guy doesn't even deserve to be in the fucking cage with me. And then, boom, one shot, game. That was it. Same thing happened here.
Yeah, it's that fine line between confidence and expecting to win, like arrogance and confidence. So I don't think that necessarily DeRitter was arrogant about, Brendan Allen or anything. I just maybe think that he overlooked him in this contest.
So here's the thing. If you want to be the kind of guy that is consistent, you got to be Demetrius Johnson. Demetrius Johnson, no matter who he fought, he prepared for them like they were the world fucking champion. Okay, Habib did the same thing. You know what I mean? All these guys. GSP was notorious for saying everyone's dangerous. And those guys, what were those guys? Consistently great. Consistently. Reinier DeRitter's got to work on this, but he's got very little time left.
Yeah, I agree completely, Eddie. That's what we got for the main event of last weekend's Fight Night card. We're going to move on quickly down the rest of this card before we get to our UFC 321 preview later in the show. We also have we have to talk about some exclusive footage that we had at Cageside Press between an interview between our own Dylan Napoleon and Derek Moneyberg. We'll briefly touch on that here in the middle of our show as well. But as far as the co-main event is concerned, Eddie, we had Mike Malott versus Kevin Holland. And Eddie, Dan Miragliotta, we got to talk about it. This guy doesn't deduct points. He stops fights when they're not being stopped. I mean, what's going on right now with Big Dan? And as far as Mike Malott's concerned, all right, the first one was bad, right? The second one, he thought that he had hit him high. It looked like, it was somewhere in between. But if you get 2 fouls in one round, Eddie, in the same fight, in the same round, I believe you need a point deducted. You've just previously been warned less than 35 seconds for when you committed the second foul. I don't care he's at home. I don't care if the Canadian crowd's going to boo you. You got to deduct that point, in my opinion, Eddie. But since they didn't deduct the point, I did have Mike Malott winning the fight 29-28.
Yeah, dude, I had Mike Malott winning too. And here's the thing about not taking the point away. The first one, like, I get it. It was incidental. Even Kevin Holland's like, hey, you're good. Don't worry about it, Mark. Kevin didn't even want timeout on that one. That second one, shit. And you know what Mike Malott said in the post-fight? This motherfucker goes, his hips are too high. So the fuck what? Place your kick where it's supposed to go, dog. What are you doing, brother? Like, it's on you not to hit him in the nuts. It's on you, not him. What is he supposed to do? Just crouch a little bit so you don't kick him in the balls? What the fuck? So Mike Malott to me seems like a kind of a strange dude anyway, not strange, but kind of a different kind of guy. You know, anytime I hear him talk, it's like he's trying to say something very thought out, and he kind of misses a little bit, or maybe we're missing. I don't know. And he doesn't even need to do all that, dude. Mike Malott's a great fighter. I think he's really good. Right? I had Holland. I think when did I pick Holland? I can't remember. But either way, like I thought Kevin Holland was a huge step for him. All right, and unfortunately for me, and I'm sure for a lot of people, the way he won that Mike won this fight, it kind of doused it for me. Like, to me, it doesn't matter. Now, in the grand scheme of things, you go to Topology, he's gonna say, "Oh, Kevin Holland, he beat Kevin Holland by decision. That's a big win. Cool. Put him on the next one, right?" But if you watch the fight and you're a fight fan, you know what happened. You're not putting much weight on this win.
No, I agree 100% for your analysis there on the fight. But we got to talk about Dan Miragliotta going in there after the second one, telling Kevin Holland, this fight is going to be stopped if you can't continue, and you're going to be disqualified. Eddie, these aren't the rules. He's been doing this for 20 years. Like, he's coming up with these rules haphazardly on the fly when he's been following them for 15 to 20 years. What's going on? Is this guy having like cognitive decline in front of us? Like seriously, like, is he just, I forget what's going on, let me take it into my own hands and figure it out from there? Like, those are not the rules in any fight I've ever seen. When have you ever, I mean, we've been watching this a long time. When have you ever seen someone fouled get told that they're going to be disqualified? I have not seen that ever.
I also think he kind of misspoke in terms of, like, he was like in the moment, whatever, trying to get this figured out. I think he just said it the wrong way. It should have been the other way. It should have been like, in fact, that would have been a no contest at that point. It was so early in the fight, right? It would have been no contest. On Malott. Or DQ on Malott, because the second one was fucking bad. Now, I think the thing with these refs, None of them are perfect, right? To me, and people give me shit about this all the time. I still think Mark Goddard is a gold standard, right? You know, and I think John McCarthy, you know, and I know we will talk about this again because you're big on him, you know, coming back, and you should definitely give up details on that because I have no idea. But I think it's the same thing with like generations of fighters, right? Yeah, Cowboy Cerrone was the fucking man for years, but he got older. He lost. You lose a step. It happens with refs too. Yeah. Shit, I'm a year away, maybe 2 years away from needing fucking glasses. All right. Yeah, it was fucking 5 years ago, 2 years ago, I had 20/20 vision. Nowadays, I'm driving, I gotta fucking squint to see the goddamn street sign. It happens to everybody.
Yeah. So here's my thing with this, right? So you mentioned John McCarthy coming back, the gold standard of MMA refereeing, in my opinion, set the rules, wrote the rules. He's going to come back like in his late 60s, maybe, or I don't know how old Big John is, but he's getting up there, you know, but he's starting at the regional scene. He said on his show weighing in that he's going to, you know, cancel his side of the show. Josh Thompson's still running it, but you know, he's getting back and doing these smaller shows, and he's gradually going to try and build back into the UFC. It's my opinion that he wants to be on the UFC White House card come June. And he's trying to get smaller shows like CES and stuff under his belt before he returns to the UFC. But good news for Big John is that these officials, in his absence, have not raised the bar to where it was when he was here or since he's left, right? We've got Herb Dean letting Jack Hermanson die. He can't get in there. We've got Jason Herzog in some type of controversy every other week. We've got Dan Miragliotta twice this week. Once we'll talk about Frivola's fight getting stopped before, you know, that happened. And then this one as well. These guys are not performing on a week-to-week basis. And in my opinion, some of the best referees in this game, the Mike Beltrons, like Eddie mentioned, the Mark Goddards, the Keith Petersons, get put on the back burner for these guys who have been the same names who we've recycled through over and over and over again through pay-per-view, like Miragliotta and Herb Dean and some of these guys. And you got to give the Beltrons and you got to give the Keith Petersons and some of these people the Mark Smiths better spots to perform, because it's obvious that some of these old guys need to get out of there. But as far as Big John's concerned, I don't think that he's that far off some of these guys like Miragliotta and Herb Dean.
No, I'm with you on that. I think, by the way, he's 63 years old. 63. Big John's going to come back. And he's going to, you know, I think there's something to taking a break, honestly, too. And look, I've been saying this shit about maybe not college refs because it's a little different, but NFL refs, okay? Why are National Football League fucking referees not full-time employees? That makes no sense to me.
Half of them are lawyers.
Exactly.
He's a lawyer.
You know? Yeah, I used to work out with that dude at the gym down the street from here because he used to live in Arizona. I used to work out with him. By the way, his arms are stupid. His arms are ridiculous for an old guy. Anyway, but I think it's the same thing with MMA referees. I think it should be their only job. If you want gold standard reffing, you gotta have these guys not have to worry about everything fucking else. That makes sense. Why the hell is Herb Dean going to Vegas and then going to Singapore the next week for one championship and then flying right back to Vancouver and then going to Abu Dhabi? And why is that even happening? You know what I'm saying? That'll fuck with everything. It makes you old traveling like that and going, you know, burning the candle on both ends. It'll make you old quick.
No, I agree 100%, Eddie. And I think that. Listen, I think it should be kind of like in a meritocracy, just like the UFC is, a ranking system. Maybe the UFC keeps 4 referees full-time on payroll. We're going to pay those guys $250,000 a year, whatever sum they come up with. 4 guys. You guys are the best. We're paying you top 4. If you mess up, or if you have like a Dan Miragliotta weekend, you can be taken out of that top 4 and someone else will move into your pay slot and you will be on that old pay slot that you were at previously. Yeah. But I think that they should just make some of these guys full-time employees. Right now, I would make Mark Goddard and Mark Smith my top 2 referees.
Yeah, I like Mark Goddard. I like Jason Herzog too. I know he's had a couple shitty ones, especially last week and the week before. But again, it's another one of those things. You're just burning, you know, both ends and everything. Keith Peterson's starting to be one of the more consistent ones at this point. Yeah. You know,
everybody shits on the Dominic Cruz stoppage, but outside that, I really haven't seen Keith make too many bad mistakes.
He's been all right. Look, man, I get it. He's on Ozempic. He's looking fucking nice and skinny and shit. Skin's hanging out. By the way, Keith, fucking, I don't give a shit that you took a shortcut, dog. Do that shit, all right? But it's his consistency is key. It's in everything you do, and what you and I do, and everything everyone does. Consistency is key. And when a ref starts making mistakes, I think there should be commission. I think commission should be able to. I don't want to use this word, all right, but I think commission should be able to suspend referees. Like, all right, we're reviewing your performances. You clearly had this and this and this and this. All right, cool. You got 3 months off, 4 months off. Not 6 months, nothing crazy. You got 2 months off, whatever, and go do your, go, take care of yourself, or put it through a program to refresh your memories and everything else, and then come back to a small show. And if we think you're doing good, cool, let's do it, right? Because guess what? We're not paying you enough to tell you fuck off for a year. We're clearly not.
The UFC signs the top fighters in the world, right? Why don't they just sign some of the top officials in the world too? Like I was saying, if you had the 4, you couldn't necessarily suspend a guy like you're saying, and maybe they would they'd hate that word, right? The referees would hate that word, getting suspended or something like that. Yeah. But if you did have 4 paid positions at the UFC and you demoted someone, that's just like, now you can go cover the PFLs. Now you can go do this other stuff, and until you prove yourself, now you can get back in. But Cecil Peoples is the GOAT.
Yeah. Here's the thing about the UFC having refs. Promotions can't hire their own refs, and it has everything to do with conflict of interest. If Herb Dean,
I guess that makes sense.
If Herb Dean and Mark Goddard was a UFC employee as a referee, okay, and Alex Pereira fights John Jones, or I don't know, give me the most bullshit. Nate Diaz fights Conor McGregor. No, fuck, that's a dumber one. Give me Ilia Topuria fights Conor McGregor. Okay, Conor cracks Ilia, just gets it on a shot, because I don't believe for one fucking second Conor can beat the top 3 in any division at this point. Okay, but regardless, he hits Ilia Topuria. Topuria's leg wobbles a little bit, and here comes Herb Dean going, "Oh, that's it, it's over." What's gonna happen? Everyone's gonna freak the fuck out. Of course, he did that. Why? Right. Because it helps the UFC to have Conor McGregor beat back again. So that's why you can't do it. But I'm with you with the commissions. Commissions need to be able to all right, cool. What's your schedule for the next 4 or 5 weeks? All right, you going Vegas? All right, cool. California? All right, cool. Singapore? All right, cool. Abu Dhabi after Singapore or back to Vegas? No. You need a weekend off, bro. But you got to pay these guys to do the one job. You can't have guys like that have other guys' careers and girls' careers in their hands. Can't have them fucking up like this.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That's me and Eddie's breakdown on refereeing currently in the state of MMA. But Eddie,
it sucks.
It's not just the referees we got to talk about. Unfortunately, it's the judges as well. Moving on, we had a split decision victory for Aiemann Zahabi at home in Canada, Eddie, over Marlon Chito Vera. I got to tell you, I thought Chito Vera won this one 2-1, 29-28. I thought he had the more impactful moments in the fight. Now, it went exactly how we were breaking it down, right? Aiemann Zahabi, volume striker, used the jab, tried to fight from the outside. The more damaging blows were done by Chito Vera. What'd you see of the fight, Eddie? What'd you think?
Exactly. Yeah. No, I thought Vera had a 2-1. And I thought it would have been split still. I thought it would have been split. I thought it should have gone. So it wasn't like a robbery, right? But when they said Aiemann Zahabi, I was like, fucking what? That's the best we've seen Vera fight in 2 years. And you give it to that dude? No wonder, man. Everyone's like, home cooking. Home cooking. It's what it is, man. It sucks. And
it wasn't like a fight that's going to boost the hype of Zahabi all that much either. It's not like his countrymen or people are going to come behind him next time they're in, Canada and be super excited for a title eliminator between Aiemann Zahabi and whoever is popping up on the radar at that point in time. So I don't think they necessarily built a star like they thought they were going to do in that matchup. So, was it a good win for Zahabi? Yeah, he just keeps the train rolling. I'll say this. He's very consistent and he's well-rounded in his game. So you know what you're going to get from Aiemann Zahabi when he comes into a fight. And that is something to be said in and of itself.
100%. But again, when he's about to enter that next level, he's ranked now, I think, right? And so
37, 38.
Let's see, where's he at? He's ranked, he's a lightweight, right? No, bantamweight. Jesus, what am I talking about?
135.
He is number 7. So he went up 2 spots. Okay. So now he's got to deal with the Figgies. He's got to deal with the Song Yadongs. It's Corey Sandhagen. It's Petr Yan, Umar, Sean O'Malley. Do you think he beat any of those guys? No.
I really don't.
Okay, Davidson Figueiredo beats him up from the outside, takes him down, beats him up some more, lets him up, beats him up some more. Song Yadong cracks him to shit. Corey Sandhagen, flying knee. Petr Yan, just volume, knocks the shit out of him. Umar Nurmagomedov takes him down, holds him down, humps him a little bit, takes the decision win. Sean O'Malley, don't even start with that. That guy's a sniper. And I don't even want to think about Merab fighting Aiemann ever. And this is not shitting at Aiemann Zahabi. I like Aiemann, all right? Dude is fucking cool guy. Weird that he looks like Ariel, but cool guy. And he can fucking scrap. He's a good fighter. Okay, but he didn't beat Vera on Saturday. He didn't.
Yeah, no, I didn't think he did either. And I thought that the hometown crowd had a little bit to do with it as well. Like,
Sure.
I know that we had judges, Sal D'Amato, and Sal actually called this fight for Chito. So the most veteran referee actually did give it to Chito Vera there. But we have a comment here from Mr. Beckham. I saw the whack game refs checks back in the early 2000s just for one night. For take home is about $7,200. It is lucrative. Yeah, and you know, honestly, like head hockey, they're getting a lot of guys that are like attorneys and people that are businessmen and stuff like that. So, you know, it is a lucrative deal, and they gotta trust that money with trustworthy people. But
even that,
here's the thing though. Even in the WAC, where it's a structured, conference, or you're in the NFL, that's so much different than the wild west of a sport like MMA. That's only 30 years old, right? So, like, we had 2 referees in the 90s and 2 in early 2000s, and we didn't have rules. And one of the referees wrote the rules, right? So, it's a little bit different, but I see what you're saying, and hopefully, MMA refereeing can get to that lucrative state, but I don't think they're making a fraction of that, Eddie.
Not even close. Not even close. So again, I think you need to go if you want good refereeing, if you want those officials to make good, to only focus on that, you got to pay them, and they're not going to because they're barely paying the fighters. So, yeah.
Moving on down the card here, Eddie, we have a lot to talk about tonight. We had Manon Fiorot pick up a very impressive knockout win over Jasmine Jasudavicius. Eddie, I think you actually went the other way with Jasmine last week, thinking she was going to get the big win at home. She was on a streak. But Manon Fiorot, people must have forgot, man, like Valentina Shevchenko is the real deal, and a loss to her is not like the end of the world. Manon Fiorot is one of the most technical strikers in the entire UFC's women's divisions, and she was really impressive. She had wins over Rose Namajunas and Erin Blanchfield before losing to Valentina Shevchenko. So I've always been really impressed with Manon Fiorot. Eddie, what'd you make of her performance last week?
I should have expected that, honestly. I was going with Jasmine because she's kind of just been, I guess punching over her level, I guess, right? Like she's just been beating girls I don't think she should have been beaten. And I was like, look, man, exactly. Like I was like, look, if she's gonna ever make a run at a title, this has to be it. This has to be the win that she gets. And man, Manon can crack. And it's not that she hits like a truck, because she doesn't, but she's so fucking accurate with it. She hit right on the button, boom. You saw Jasmine's legs go wobbly, and then she just put it on her, and that was that. I know Jasmine got up like, oh, what the fuck? No, that was a good stoppage. You got me. So it is what it is, man.
Yeah, I think she's one of the most technical strikers we have in women's MMA. Is there a specific, like, there's only so many girls you can put in there with her, right? Or you're going to have stuff happen like last weekend. We all love seeing the knockouts in women's MMA, no doubt about it. But she is that upper echelon of competitors. She's already fought Rose Namajunas. She's already fought Erin Blanchfield. Is there anybody that specifically you would like to see her fight next?
Oh, man, let me go to flyweight. I had somebody.
Maybe a Tracy Cortez or a...
Oh, God, Tracy. Oh, you know what? Tracy would be a good matchup. Tracy could take her down. Natalia Silva would be a good one.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
She's booked with somebody, isn't she? By the way, Natalia Silva would be dope. I don't think she's fought Erin Blanchfield. No, she fought Erin Blanchfield, right?
I think she picked up a decision. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Rose Namajunas beat Erin Blanchfield coming into the match, and then she fought.
There's plenty of girls for Manon to fight. The problem is they're all under her. So for the moment, she's going to be a gatekeeper until she gets enough wins, or for some reason Valentina loses to Wei Li, and then it opens up the entire division for everybody. But right now, she's going to have to play. She's going to play gatekeeper for a minute before she gets into the shot.
No, she did beat Erin Blanchfield. I was right. She beat Rose
well, there you go.
Blanchfield back to back, and before that, she beat the surging Caitlin Shahugan. So, and Caitlin was one of those girls who was, like her, a really highly touted technical kickboxer years ago.
I forgot all about Caitlin Chukagian. What is she up to? She's still fighting?
Ooh, here's a good one.
Manara
versus Alexa Grasso. I like that. I like that a lot.
Ooh, because Grasso can strike.
Yeah. Boxing for kickboxing.
I'm good with that one or Silva. I prefer the Grasso fight because Grasso's already been champion. Get in there with this chick. I want Silva to get a crack at the title before having to face a killer like Fiorot.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's a really good point. Eddie, there is one more statement win that we have to talk about before we move on to the news from this last week and our previews and predictions for the pay-per-view this weekend. Charles Jourdain gets it done at home with a submission, tight guillotine, similar to the one we saw with the win over Lando Venata. This guy's submission game is very sneaky. on the feet, it looked like Davey was cracking him a little bit, but he got the fight to the ground. And Davey was the one who actually shot the takedown, got his head in there, and Charles just played it perfectly, reversed him into that guillotine submission. Eddie, and how impressed were you with Jourdain? And I believe he's 27 years old now. This guy's been in the UFC for quite a while. He's been fighting these top of the spear guys. What do you think about Charles Jourdain? Already has gray hair in his 20s, but do you think he can make a legitimate push up the rankings here towards title contention?
I think he'll make a push up the rankings for a title, but I don't think he's going to actually – I don't know if I see him ever actually getting a title shot, but I think he could do it. He's a fun dude. The personality is there. The media presence there. Fans love him. And the dude can fight. Like, what else could you want? I think he finally started taking it way more serious than he used to. I think he used to just kind of like just show up and fight and he would win. Right? A couple fights didn't go his way, whatever. I think he's finally taking it serious. I thought it was a dope finish for him that night. And it's cool that him and his brother are the first Canadian brothers in the UFC. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, that is. I hope we can get him on a card moving forward. That would be pretty cool. But great win for Charles Jourdain. Hopefully he gets a ranked fighter in his next contest. But Eddie, was there another fight on this card, that you would like to talk about on the prelims before we move on?
Let me see the
Kyle Nelson fight. I mean, why is it getting stuck? Like the referee, I don't know why they're stopping the fight when he's fighting.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about that very quickly because we didn't talk about that. The Frivola stoppage, not stoppage. Who was that? Was that Miragliotta?
I think Dan.
God damn it! God damn it! It was either him or Jason. No, it was him. It was him. So he waited. First of all, it was Miragliotta. He said he didn't that he heard the horn. That horn never fucking went. I watched the fight again later that night on whatever the fuck is ESPN, and there was no horn. No horn sounded. I'm like, this mother. He heard the clapper and he waited with 3 seconds left on the clock. That was a stoppage. Kyle Nelson deserved a stoppage right there. Instead, he had to get his wits together after the adrenaline dump and get back to fighting. And to his credit, he was able to pull it off. For Vola, look, he got caught, and that was that. Right, and that should have been a TKO finish right there, and that should have been game. But unfortunately, again, repping strikes again. So that is what it is.
Frivola has not looked good since that knockout knee from Fiorot Zaham. Like, I know the confidence is probably shot after getting knocked out a couple. But why is Matt Frivola? He goes in there and it's just the most meathead game plan I've ever seen. It's like I'm going to finish you or you're going to finish me. One of us is going down in the first 3 minutes. But obviously that didn't happen this time. But it's just. I don't know where Matt Frivola goes from here against the elite striker. He's getting knocked out against guys like Benoit Saint Denis, right, who are not elite strikers. And I don't see much of a ground game for Matt either. He's a fun fighter, but do you think Matt's going to stick around?
He'll stick around. But think about here's the thing: his game plan that he puts in every fight is I know I'm never fighting for a fucking world title game plan. It's to swing and be entertaining and have the fans like me and try to get bonuses, but. It is what it is with that. I think he's got to evolve, but I mean he's too much fun to evolve. He's a fan favorite. He doesn't want to lose that quite obviously. If Matt Frivola starts wrestling motherfuckers and just like white blanketing dudes, like he's gonna lose every bit of popularity he has. So the one other fight, not really the fight. I mean kind of the fight. Drew Dober. He won. Yeah, he had that foul. Whatever. Fuck the fight. Afterwards, man, that was a heartbreaking thing. In the octagon, he was talking to DC saying, like, I went through a lot this camp. Afterwards, Mike Bond asked him about, you kind of insinuated there was something happened in camp. What's up? He lost a child. And that is, I'm assuming, he's talking miscarriage. And having been through that, I'm amazed and incredibly like proud of him for pushing through the way he did through camp. Because that loss, it kind of derails your life for as long as you let it. And the fact that he still went through and came out with a win, on top and everything is massive. And now he has to go back and heal, man, because during camp, you don't have time to mourn. Yeah. Right. So as much as everyone, all well wishes and everything to do Dober and everything, but the hardest part's coming up is now for him. And it's going to be one of those things where it's just like, man, it sucks. So shout out to him and his lady and his family and everything. I hope everything, I hope the rainbow baby comes sooner than later. Rainbow baby is what happens. Is the next baby that comes after miscarriage. That's what they call him, rainbow baby. When my son was born, he's sitting right here playing video games. When my son was born, my wife had a little beanie that said rainbow baby. We had to explain it to everybody, but yeah, man, all the best to Drew. I also want to say that Drew Dober, man, I feel for you, my guy.
Yeah, sorry to hear that for Drew Dober, but a great win for him this weekend. Hope him and his family can keep his spirits up at tough times. Eddie, we got to talk about a great and exclusive interview that one of our own did with Derek Moneyberg, a hot topic in the MMA space right now. Moneyberg was just on Ariel Helwani's show, did about an hour-long special with him, had a lot to say, called out Sean Strickland for a matchup, just like he did with our own Dylan Napoleon, saying that I don't think Sean Strickland can tap me in 5 minutes, along with some other statements as well, saying that BJ Penn was there, to congratulate him when he got his or that BJ Penn congratulated him on his black belt after earning it in the same amount of time that BJ Penn had earned his. Obviously, BJ Penn won world championships to get that black belt. But Eddie, you're a great guy to talk to about this situation, because you are a guy who used to compete. You are now a recreational jiu-jitsu practitioner. You've been around the fight game for a long time. You've seen these guys with money come to the jiu-jitsu gym over the years, I'm sure. So Eddie, what do you think about this situation? Is this guy for real? Is he is he one of these guys who's a leecher on in the sport that's trying to profit off of people? And listen, he's a businessman. That's what businessmen do. No problem there whatsoever. But what is your opinion on Derek Moneyberg and kind of the stuff he says? Because we saw him 2 years ago. He didn't look in the shape he looks in now, and that's all credit to him getting his body where he's gotten it. Probably taking yeah. He's juiced out of his mind. He's juiced out of his mind, right? So what do you think about this whole situation, Eddie?
Okay. First of all, some of you motherfuckers that DM me bitching about the fact that, I can't believe you let Napoleon. First of all, what do you mean let? Okay, if Derek Moneyberg, who's I'm not gonna call him relevant because he's not, but who's like a big topic right now, obviously is a big topic right now. If he comes up and says, "Hey man, you want to interview me?" I'm not saying no. Because I have some fucking questions. And Napoleon did a great job on that, asking him, like, hey, man, what do you think about Sean Strickland? Like, running up on you and shit and all this stuff. And I haven't watched that interview and haven't put myself through a fucking Ariel Helwani interview again for the first time in fucking years. We talk about that, but my opinion on that do some other fucking time. But haven't put myself through that. The guy is a professional bullshitter. He didn't answer a fucking question for not Napoleon. He didn't answer not a fucking question for Ariel. Everything was, and then he got Ariel to put on the stupid ass shirt, and this motherfucker, the fuck is that? You're not a journalist, bro. You can't put on that shirt and do that.
No, Ariel didn't put it on the show.
No, but he had the picture with him afterwards.
Oh, did he?
Oh yeah, he posted the shit out of that. That's out there with him and Moneyberg with the shirt on and everything. Yeah.
Oh,
no.
is it?
As soon as I saw that, I was like, "Yep, there it is."
He did a good job of conducting the interview. At least he was hard on him when he.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Derek said Ariel asked him a really pointed question. He said, "What is your goal in this sport of MMA? Like, what are you trying to do with the business? And he was very elusive. He was just like, "Well, I'm trying to help people find financial."
He wouldn't answer. He wouldn't answer.
Like, I'm sorry, you do not. We know what he's spending in ad revenue. We've got 30,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. We can see what views do ratio wise. He's paying for views probably. Now, with that being said, like, what's the end goal? Like, is it to financially help fighters, or like? I don't know. Does he want to run jiu-jitsu classes for the elite of like the Mark Zuckerbergs and people like that and get paid by them? I don't know what his plan is, but this seems like the type of guy who does have a plan, though.
He has a plan that only is going to benefit him. Obviously, that's how these guys work, right? The whole thing he ever does is wear the same stupid ass shirt, and he's just like, okay, let me put it this way. You ever seen who's that jackass? Tai Lopez? Something like that. This ass clown. And by the way, if you don't know who I'm talking about, consider yourself fucking smart. Okay. I'm a dumbass that spent too much on YouTube back in the day. And so I was there for the very first video of Tai Lopez. This asshole used to come be like, yep, this is me in my garage with my Lamborghini. Yeah. And look at my bookshelf. I read all these books. He didn't read not one of them. They basically what they do is they try to make themselves look legit. Okay. In order to sell courses, because that's what Tai Lopez fucking does. That piece of shit's still around too. I think he just got sued and thank God. But or arrested or something. But Moneyberg seems to be moving the same way, right? So what do you do when you're trying to bring in clients, especially clients that are like fighters, for example, professional boxers, professional athletes, okay? Those would be big clients for him to get because he can charge him a pretty penny for his bullshit advice. So you go and you train and you interview fighters, you pay for interviews, which is fucking insane, but you pay for interviews, you go start training and everything, and you kind of maybe you insinuate, maybe straight out, who knows? I don't know Jake Shields personally. I don't know what he would accept or not accept in terms of like, look, man, I'll give you this much money, just give me my black belt. I need to look legit or whatever, right? I've been training for 6-7 years now, okay? And I've rolled with black belts, and I've seen how long it takes a black belt to earn that black belt, and I've seen how much it means to them. All right, I saw the clip of this asshole getting his black belt. He took it like he was being handed a fucking like a phone case. That's what he did, and I'm like, bro, like somebody that earned your black belt is in tears on the ground crying. Like if I ever look, I've been a blue belt for about 10. Like I call myself a 10-year blue belt, but I've been a blue belt for years. Okay. It's just, it has, injuries, lacking consistency, all this other shit. Say whatever you want with it. But if I ever get to fucking black belt, I'm going to cry like a little bitch on the fucking ground. I'm going to be losing my mind because the effort and the time and the work you got to do to get that black belt is like, it's like nothing else. So his reaction when he got his black belt to me said everything. I'm like, oh, that's bullshit. Right. And he surrounds himself with Frank Mir, Glover Teixeira, Jake Shields. Like, who's the other one? There was one more in there, but Lyoto Machida, which again, I can't believe Lyoto Machida fucking went for that shit, but it's just he's created this image of himself.
I've never seen Lyoto Machida do one submission.
Karate.
I'm just putting that out. Never seen one submission.
I know he trains, but karate dude. But the thing with Moneyberg is just he's created this like this image, right? They've called him out. Hey, come compete. Oh, I'll come to your gym and I'll train. Okay. Because you know what I do in training? If someone even gets close to a heel hook, I'm tapping. Someone gets close to an arm bar, my arms are kind of fucked from injuries and everything. I'm probably tapping. So what's he gonna do? Someone gets on his back and they start going for a Reinier. Oh yeah, I'm tapping, bro. That's not a real thing. They want to get him in there for a legitimate like competition. He's not gonna do it. He won't do it. It's all talk right now. The whole thing was like, no, but he challenged Sean Strickland. I didn't even see that part. Like, oh, I did see it, but I was just like,
he said he wouldn't tap him in 5 minutes. Eddie tapped him in 50 seconds.
Like Sean Strickland would fuck him up, but Sean Strickland wants to fight. That guy's not a submission, a grappler. That guy's a fighter.
Eddie, he's so lucky he didn't get smacked in that hotel room. For Sean Strickland to go through all this bullshit legal, I'll bet you right now, as he got those papers served, he's like, I might as well have smacked that motherfucker. Like, honestly,
okay. Get your money's worth at that point. Yeah, and honestly, you had to prove, like, what was it? Is it libel or slander? Whatever these fucking
slander, yeah, defamation.
Whatever.
But
defamation. You have to prove defamation. And that's going to be a hard one to prove because it's just Sean Strickland, being a clown. But who knows? I don't really care about this lawsuit. Either way, at the end of the day, the Moneyberg thing, first of all, for y'all that were DMing me, so I can't believe you fucking, I don't give a shit.
That's a big get.
Is what it is, man. If I got Husmar Paharis, I'm interviewing Husmar Paharis. I know he's a sack of shit, but I'll still do it. You know what I mean?
It's just how you tailor your questions for that interview. It's up to you.
Right.
How you want that to be,
like I said, Dylan did his job. Dylan asked good questions. Not his fault that this guy's an expert of just to avoid answering anything. He just kept saying the same old bullshit. Oh, financial freedom. Oh, this and that.
He sounded like a graduate business school guy. He sounded like corporate America.
It is what it is. And getting on Arrow was the biggest thing he could have done to make himself even look legitimate. He's gonna get clients off of that because we have a lot of fucking morons out here. We really do. So it's what it is, man.
Maybe Don Davis can go roll with him.
Hey, Don's gonna be like, I got my black belt too.
No, but what I was going to say, though, Eddie, is that we've seen big guys with money get into this, like Mark Wahlberg. But Mark Wahlberg went in there and competed. Like, he eventually got into a competition with a dude who could have theoretically broken his arm or leg. Now, he stuck his neck out there and did that. So credit to Mark Wahlberg over some of these other guys. And Mark Wahlberg's not trying to make, as of right now, not trying to make a buck off the fighters. So I think there's a little bit different situation there, but we have seen rich guys in the past. Let's get off this topic. We got a pay-per-view to talk about this week, guys. But before we do so, I do want to take a moment to reflect on, a big member of the MMA community that we lost last week, and that's Coach Duke Rufus of Rufus Sport in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And, for me personally, I've been a fight fan for a long time. The first ever event I went to as a fan was with my dad. I was 12 years old. It was at Milwaukee. It was in Milwaukee where the Bucks play. And it was Henderson versus Pettis 2 for the title. And that night, Anthony Pettis won with a double arm bar and went and celebrated with his brother and Coach Duke Rufus, who were all hugging each other and hysterical. And, it was a great moment for Milwaukee MMA. It was a great moment for Rufus Sport as a camp. And it was awesome to see as a young kid. how much he poured into the two Pettis brothers in their journey. So rest in peace to Duke Roufus. And Eddie, is there anything you'd like to say?
Duke Roufus spoke. I spoke to Duke Roufus outside a UFC event in Vegas. He talked to me for about 8 minutes. I want to say 8 minutes. It felt like 2, but I remember like my girl at the time was like kind of waiting for. She hates fights. Luckily, my wife is fucking awesome and she loves going to fights. But my girlfriend at the time hated it. Right? She just wanted to go fucking party in Vegas, and she kept looking at me like, and she fucking let me know that I spent 8 minutes talking to some random guys. What she said. And Duke Roufus, I just asked him, I was like, hey man, like what's it like to train fucking killers? Like, it's crazy. He didn't talk about the striking, he didn't talk about strategy, nothing. He said, man, these guys are so fucking cool. Like, some of these guys are some of the coolest people you'll ever meet. And he went down to his roster. This guy does this. This guy has this family. His parents do this. And like, he cared so much about his guys. And that's why every single one of them is coming out saying like he was like a father figure. He was like a father. In my mind, those are the best coaches. You don't coach, you don't lead leaders. The best leaders don't act like robots. They don't act like, okay, you stay over there. This is the line right here. The best leaders embrace their teams, and the best coaches embrace their guys like family. I gotta give it to Jay Pages, my jiu-jitsu coach. Dude he calls all of us his sons. That's what he does. And it's a family environment. Everyone hangs out with everybody. Everyone's in everyone's wedding. It's the dopest way to be a coach. And Duke was so good at that. It was the coolest shit. So it broke my heart to hear about it. I was out getting ice cream for my kid and everything. And I saw it. It came through, and I was like, no fucking way. 55. I knew he wasn't old. Yeah. The guy was still in it. So rest in peace. All the best to him and his family and everything. And luckily for his family, they got a couple hundred uncles that are going to be around for his kids for sure.
And I got one more story. So when we were in San Diego last year covering that Bellator event, Usman Nurmagomedov versus Alexander Shabli, I think it was, he had a fighter on that card, Jourdain Newman, beat Ali Azayev. Jourdain Newman ended up winning a unanimous decision over one of Khabib's guys, Ali Azayev, who was 9-0 at the time. And he gave him his first professional loss. That night, we're all at the fighter hotel, drinking at the bar and stuff. And somebody actually was rushed out to an ambulance. Something had happened. I won't say who or what had happened, but something had happened, and they had been rushed out to an ambulance. And people associated with this person, a couple fighters, were standing outside. Now, there was a hanger-oner there that was trying to video the person, going to the ambulance. And Tagir Ulanbekov came up to the guy, tried to snatch his phone and throw it on the ground, and he was going to beat the shit out of this guy in public. And Duke Roufus got in between them, and he stopped it. And he gave the guy his phone back. He calmed Tagir down, who couldn't probably even speak English, and dissolved the whole situation before Tagir got arrested for assault. This guy's phone got smashed, and we had somebody bloody on the ground. So Duke Roufus was in there, and I saw it. I was standing right outside waiting for an Uber, and he de-escalated this whole situation. And he was just a good guy and was always looking out for people, no matter who it was. So rest in peace to him. And our thoughts are with the whole Roufus sport team over there and everybody associated with the gym as well. Fight fans, it is UFC 321 Fight Week. The heavyweight championship is on the line. Tom Aspinall will face Ciryl Gane on Saturday night. Eddie, we talked about a trap fight in the Brennan Allen versus Reinier de Ridder. Is the same thing probable in this one with Tom Aspinall fighting an elite striker in Ciryl Gane? But is Ciryl Gane's grappling, to the point where it has so many holes in it that Tom Aspinall is going to be able to submit him, take him down, and get him out of there in the first 2 rounds? That's the side that I'm leaning on. I think Tom Aspinall wins this fight by submission. We've seen him pull off submissions over guys like Alexander Volkov in the past, who are not the easiest in the world to take down. We saw Ciryl Gane look absolutely awful against John Jones and get submitted. I'm going to take Tom Aspinall first or second round submission.
I'm taking a first round knockout. I think it's the one thing with look, first of all, these guys are like the next level, and Tom said as much today. In fact, Tom and Ciryl Gane said as much. Like, they're the next breed of heavyweight guys that move like freaking middleweights in there, but crack like heavyweights, right? They're quick. They're both. First of all, this is gonna be. I'm gonna be a fucking nerd on Saturday night or Saturday afternoon, because I'm gonna be watching footwork more than anything. Their footwork is so clean. So clean, because they're both strikers and everything, but I can't wait to see the footwork. Yeah, and I want to see what that first ground exchange looks like, if there is one. Now, I don't think there will be one. I think it's going to be one of those things where, like Tom's going to find the button in the first round. And I think this was going to happen. I think it'll be a first round thing. Now, I know Tom today. So Ciryl Gane went to media day, went up in front of the media before Tom did, right? And Gane said, I'm going to drag him into deep waters. And that put a big ass smile. So Oscar, our friend Oscar, asked him about it. He goes, hey, Mr. Ciryl Gane was here before. He said he's going to take you to deep waters, all this stuff. And a big smile cracked on Tom's face. He goes, he said those words. He said the word deep waters. He's like, yeah. He goes, anyone that's ever said deep waters against me I has been knocked out in the first minute. In the first minute.
Yeah.
Right. And he goes, so that's great. Like, cool. Right. And I'm just like, no, I'm not giving that. Like, that's not the reason why I'm picking him in the first round. I think it's going to be, maybe halfway through the round or whatever, because I think Ciryl Gane watches enough tape to know, hey, let's not let this dude land clean on me because that's going to be stupid.
Yeah.
I think that first round's going to be kind of boring. And I still think Tom finds it. I think Tom finds the punch. But it's going to be, I think it's going to be a good fight. We'll see.
I think it's going to be a good fight too, and especially stylistically. Now, the only thing for me when picking Tom Aspinall that gives me a cause for concern is that Ciryl Gane has never been outstruck, right? He was the Muay Thai world champion before he came to the UFC. Francis Ngannou had to resort to takedowns to beat Ciryl Gane in that fight, and honestly was getting not picked apart. He was hurt. We all know the situation leading into that contest, but Ciryl looked good on the feet in that contest and technical. Then he goes and fights Jon Jones. We saw about 10 seconds of him on the feet, right? So Jon had a game plan, and he executed it well. Then, we see Ciryl Gane versus Volkov. I thought he lost that fight, Eddie, and I thought Volkov, obviously, who had already lost to Tom Aspinall, it's hard to put him into a title shot off of a loss. But for me, Eddie, one of the things that needs to be talked about this is that Ciryl Gane, in my opinion, might be the most undeserving title challenger that we've had in any weight class in a numerous amount of years, right? So I know Steve Erstad got the shot when he was at 10, but he was at least coming off a big knockout win over Matt Schnell at the time, right? It was a knockout of the year contender. What is Ciryl Gane coming off of? He's coming off an unimpressive split decision win. Probably should have been a loss against Alexander Volkov, where he, for the first time in his career, didn't get necessarily the better of his opponent on the feet. I really don't know what to make of Ciryl Gane coming into this. There's so many different facets to think about. He's good on striking. He's been exposed on the ground a little bit at times. But will Tom Aspinall choose to take this fight to the ground, or will he choose to stand and trade? If Tom Aspinall chooses to stay on the feet, I believe that plays into the hand of Ciryl Gane, and there is a legitimate chance he can win this fight by decision, being quicker and technically kickboxing him from the outside. But if Tom mixes things up well with the takedown, like you're saying, I think that opens up things for his hands as well. So we'll have to see. I do think Tom Aspinall is more well-rounded. I just don't want to see him go in there and fight right to the style and game plan of Ciryl Gane.
Right. Yeah, I don't either. I don't want to see that. I want to see him mix it up and everything. Maybe even take him down, just stand back up. Just stand back up. Just don't, just like, hey, I just want to let you know I can take you down. That's it.
Yeah. So, and it's going to tire Ciryl Gane at that point too.
Oh, yeah.
Who's not been, grappled over rounds like that for an extended period of time. But Eddie, looking forward to 2026, looking forward to this card, setting things up for 2026. I think the real appeal of this event for the main event is what could happen next, right? We have Alex Pereira on the horizon. We have Jon Jones on the horizon. Me and you talked about it previously on the show. We think that Tom Aspinall is going to fight Alex Pereira here probably around March or somewhere, and then that may lead into a Jon Jones fight if Tom ends up winning. If Ciryl Gane ends up winning, Eddie, it throws a fork in the plans of all UFC fans, and it's really one of the biggest letdown moments that we've had as fight fans in a good amount of time. We've never gotten the matchups that we've always wanted. The Brock Lesnar versus Fedor, the Kane versus Fedor, these mystical matchup, Tony and Khabib. If we don't get Tom versus Jon because Ciryl goes in there and upsets us this weekend, Eddie, how disappointed are you going to be as a fight fan?
I'll be bummed out for sure. And just because this is what Tom said, Tom believes that it's going to be him versus the winner of the Volkov Almeida fight for the next fight, right? Which, look, we got plenty of time till June, so who cares, right?
That's the ugliest matchup.
100%. No one wants to see that. So hopefully he's wrong. But I think that, dude, again, I still want to stick to that. I'm hoping for the best. Just like you said, Aspinall, Pereira, winner against Jon Jones at the White House, if that's the thing. If John's still, John's serious about fighting and everything. But yeah, dude, if Gane wins, that's a non-starter. You hold off Pereira till the White House. That's it. Hey, man, you're not fighting till June. Here's a check.
Yeah, no, you're right. He fights Pereira. I think you're exactly correct. If Gane wins, his next fight is against Pereira at the White House, in my opinion.
No. I think Pereira Jones. I don't want.
You think Jones just jumps it, and you don't need that title?
I don't want to see Gane fucking anywhere. Honestly, I don't want to see Gane for anything. And honestly, you could do Gane Pereira before the White House, right? Because if Pereira wins, which I think he would win that fight, but okay, no, let me wrap it up here real quick. You could do Gane Pereira next, sooner than later, because they're heavyweights.
You and me both, Beckham.
Good luck, Beckham. All right. First of all, media, especially MMA media. If you think you're gonna get credentials to that, good luck. I think it's gonna be a pain in the ass.
Even if we do get credentials, Eddie, the security you're gonna have to go through at that event is gonna be crazy.
Oh, Gabriel's had to deal with Secret Service before with Diaper Donnie going to fucking going to the fights or whatever. But end of the day, it doesn't really matter. But I think the other way you could do it, if I'm Dana White, okay. If Tom Aspinall loses to Gane, I don't want Gane anywhere near that White House card, because what are you gonna do? Gane Jones? Okay, the whole point is you want Jones in there. That's the whole idea, is you want John Jones in that card. You want to find an excuse to get John Jones in the White House. I think what you do is, if Gane wins, you tell Pereira, hey Pereira, check this out, bro. You're a little too small for heavyweight still. All right, you're not gonna get 3 years to bulk up like John Jones did. Get in that weight room right fucking now. Creatine, fucking protein, fucking maybe a little bit of this. We'll just take, under the rug. We do our own testing now, Alex. We do our own testing, dog. All right. I'll just forget where you are for a couple months. But either way, I'm like, go home, bulk up a little bit. But I mean, he did it for Conor. Anyway, bulk up a little bit. Yeah, go bulk up a little bit. All right, and be a legitimate heavyweight against John Jones at the UFC at the White House card. That's what I do. But I just don't see that happening. I think our plan's gonna work out.
Like Mr. Beckham says, there is a lot of big matchups on the horizon that feed into this matchup this weekend. The heavyweight title will be on the line this Saturday. Where are we at here? We're in the Middle East. We're in the United Arab Emirates.
Abu Dhabi
this weekend. So what do we have for a fight time? 11 a.m. prelim start.
11 a.m. Excuse me, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard, and that would make 10 a.m. Eastern time. So 11. So your time 11 a.m. Huh? No. The prelims. Okay. So I'm gonna be up at 7 working, dog, and then I got LFA. So I'm not even gonna get to watch this fight more than likely, because I got to take off because LFA's in my town, and I'm covering that on Saturday. So I'm gonna be I'm gonna get a text from somebody about that one. But we do have somebody at Abu Dhabi.
Really? Oh yeah, that's right. You were telling me about that.
We got one dude in there. So apparently, I didn't. Whatever, bro. I ain't flying over there. It's a 20-hour flight. Fuck that.
All right, me and Eddie both have Tom Aspinall in the main event. He's got him by knockout. I've got him by submission. Go and bet that if you guys want. Eddie, do we have official odds on this before we move on to the second main event? The odds are -400 Tom Aspinall, plus 300 for Ciryl Gane. The UFC is a little outdated.
Okay, there. You're the better. You're the better here. Do you put money on Gane on this one? Because it's that big fucking odds.
If I put money on Ciryl Gane, okay. So if I put money on Ciryl Gane this weekend, I'm sprinkling it on him by decision. I don't think he knocks Tom out. I think the only way he wins this fight is defending the takedown, kickboxing him on the legs, using good low leg kicks and that jab over 5 rounds, and just kind of doing the Ciryl Gane game where he dances around and is more athletic and is the better athlete than you. I think that's the best avenue to success for Ciryl Gane. I would take him by decision if I was going to bet him this weekend, Eddie.
Gotcha.
But I'll tell you what, I am going to be taking the underdog in our next fight, the co-main event between Mackenzie Dern and Vernon Jandiroba. Jandiroba enters this fight 22-3, while Mackenzie Dern is 15-5. Mackenzie Dern, Eddie, is 4-4 in her last 8 fights, coming in here to face Vernon Jandiroba for the belt. Eddie, Mackenzie Dern's great on the ground. But at times, I feel like I mentioned it in the DeRitter fight. Sometimes these fighters who are really good at jiu-jitsu stay on their back too long, and it's hard to get submissions off your back in MMA, especially when you're going in against a rough and rugged competitor like Vernon Jandiroba. Jandiroba is going to be able to control her on the ground, in my opinion, and avoid the submission attempts of Mackenzie Dern to earn either a TKO victory in the late rounds by ground and pound or a decision victory, in my opinion. I've got Vernon Jandiroba in this one. I'm going to take her money line plus 126.
No way. All right. What did he say? Last time I saw you covering a fight at the Apex, I ran into Dern. I have met her. Actually, I saw her at the Apex. Yeah, this last earlier this year. In fact, the first card of the year, I think. She walked in with her dog Mac, her what do you call it? Her emotional support.
Huge thing. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember I was sitting there like, they were like, oh, I'm like, what the hell is that? They're like, that's her emotional support dog or whatever, her service dog. And I'm like, that's a service fucking horse. What the hell is she feeding that thing? I think, first of all, awesome dog. I want one immediately. But outside of that, it was just funny. But no, the fight's wild, right? It's really, really wild. What does the UFC want to happen? They want Dern to be the champion, quite clearly. All right, for hilarious reasons that I'm not going to talk about because I will not stop laughing if I start talking about the fact that Brenda Jandiroba looks like Dylan Rush if his eyes were crossed. But he said it himself anyway. But end of the day, dude, I think it's going to be a tough out for Dern to beat Jandiroba. I don't care. I don't understand the odds of her being an underdog. I think Verna should be the favorite.
Well, so Mackenzie has beaten Verna Jandiroba like 5 years ago, right?
Yeah,
so
right.
Verna went on this like 9-fight run of winning streak since the loss to Mackenzie Dern, but Mackenzie did beat her by unanimous decision early in her career.
And it was a different Dern. It was bigger. No offense. It was literally physically bigger, worse, like harder weight cuts. She missed weight a handful of times because of it. She was more worried about. She wasn't worried about looking good than she was about fighting. Quite obviously, if you look at her now to her then, the physiques are different, the lifestyle is completely different. But so I think Dern's a lot more serious now. It's just hard for me to fathom the odds. All that being said, all right, I just have a feeling Dern's gonna pull the shit off, dude. I think he's gonna find a way to pull this off by decision. I think it's gonna be a scrap because look, they're both good. La Nino. Don't do my boy Gilbert like that. Gil's not. I'm gonna tell Gil. I'm gonna see him myself. If he's the one, I'm gonna tell him. Motherfucker. That's kidding. No, but
yeah, you'll see him in the LFA here coming up.
If he's, I mean, he should be. He's California. Or he's California. It's Arizona, so he should be here. But we'll see. But yeah, dude. It's I have a feeling Dern's gonna pull it off by decision. All right. The ground game's going to cancel each other out. They're going to have to stand. And, man, all Dern has to do is think about the fact that she has to pay her ex-husband fucking alimony, and she's going to crack Verna and maybe straighten out one of those eyeballs. Fuck, I said it. Oh sorry, guys.
All right, fight fans. So I've got Jandiroba by decision. Eddie's got Mackenzie Dern by decision. We're going to go different ways on that one. The odds are slightly favoring Mackenzie Dern in that matchup.
About a little bit.
Moving on down the cards to some odds that are of wide disparity. Umar Nurmagomedov is the biggest. The biggest favorite on this card, taking on the streaking Mario Batista. Batista's beaten Patchy Mix. Batista's beaten Jose Aldo. Batista's beaten your favorite fighter, and he continues to win in this division and move up the rankings. So Umar Nurmagomedov moves back after the title loss. He's facing a guy in Batista who's streaking. He's going to be hard to take down. Mario has great defensive wrestling and good offensive wrestling himself, and he might crack. He might hit a little bit harder than Umar Nurmagomedov, but we've seen the spinning techniques and the kicks from Umar in the past. I just think that he's going to be able in 3 rounds to technically box Mario. I think the ground games are going to at least cancel out. Umar might take him to the ground a couple of times, but I think Mario's good enough to, use that fence, get back to his feet, and not get into dangerous positions where he'll be submitted. So I think it'll primarily be a striking contest that Umar wins by decision.
Yeah, man, it's finally get some revenge for Jose Aldo. It's about damn time, man. Now I would love to see Umar finish him, but Mario Batista is a fucking tough bastard. He's a tough motherfucker to beat. And he's upset. He's upset at quite a few guys. Like every single time he comes in, everyone's like, "Oh, this guy's gonna do it. Oh, this guy's gonna do it," and they can't do it. Umar let me down big time against Merab. Not because I thought Umar was gonna lose. I didn't, but I thought he was gonna put up a way better fight than he did against Merab. I thought it should have been way. I thought he was underwhelming, right? Yeah. So I got Umar by decision. I think we're gonna get bored, but whatever. But Umar by decision, and then the Mario train's gonna have to pick another day to ride, but. But yeah, either way, man. I don't know.
Are you surprised here at the odds a little bit? Plus 600, or no, I'm sorry, plus 475 for Mario Batista, minus 750 for Umar Nurmagomedov.
No, I'm not surprised by it because I don't think anyone cares about this fight. Does that make sense? Honestly, like I don't think Vegas doesn't give a shit. They're like, fuck it, this house gonna probably slap that on there. Fuck out of here. I
think there's a lot of name value that's rowed on that.
Right.
I think it's a closer fight than that. I think it's going to be at least competitive.
Skill-wise, yes. Skill-wise, yes. I'm not saying Umar's gonna wreck him. I do think he's gonna take him down and just hold him down.
Yeah. I could see it as well. That is the bantamweight featured fight on this card. We're both taking Umar Nurmagomedov by decision. Moving on down the card here, Eddie, we have the aforementioned Alexander Volkov, who comes off that loss, they say, to Ciryl Gane. But Eddie, he's getting thrown to the toughest matchup for him in this entire division, in my opinion, in Jourdain Almeida, the best Brazilian jiu-jitsu we have in the division, the youngest competitor that Volkov could face with a grappling background. Eddie, there's obviously length on the side of Volkov, but there's always length on the side of Volkov. How much of a grappling advantage is Almeida going to have, and is he going to be able to submit Volkov and ruin the Volkov party back towards the belt here? I think he's going to get a submission here in the first 2 rounds, in my opinion, and it's going to be back to the drawing board for Alexander Volkov.
If this fight is to go, look, I think we all think Almeida is going to win, right? I think everyone thinks, all right, cool. The first round, they'll go. Volkov will look okay. Second round, Almeida takedown and just beat him up on the ground and just, anaconda his ass or whatever. I think if you want for Volkov to win, he's got to break his left hand. That jab has to be coming out a million times in the first round, a million times. Just pop, 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 pop. You got to keep Jourdain away from your fucking legs. It's plain and simple. The problem is Almeida's going to pressure him, and the second Alexander Volkov gets close to the fucking, I can't even half a foot, even more, a foot away from the fence, and Almeida's going to dive at his legs like his life depends on it, take him out and beat him up. Volkov has to be the guy putting the pressure on him, but keep himself safe with that jab and get ready to send an uppercut or a knee up the middle, because Almeida's gonna take him down, right? If he doesn't, put gas on those fucking jabs, I want to see that.
Yeah, and I like what you said. It's got to be an uppercut or a knee, because the best things that Alexander Volkov has are his kicks. But that's what Almeida's looking for to try to take him to the ground, right? So maybe the best tool in the arsenal of Alexander Volkov can't be used in this fight. So I think this is really interesting. The odds are actually closer than what people would think. It's actually minus 190 for Almeida, plus 160 for Volkov. So that's under 2-1 odds there. I'm going to take Almeida money line all day in that one. I think he can get it done by submission or by decision in this one. But I got to feel bad for Alexander Volkov with this matchmaking, Eddie. This is the worst stylistic matchup he could have been thrown.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I think it's one of those things where they told him, like, oh, I'm going to take it or leave it. But if you don't take this, you're not going to fight. And Volkov needs to fight. He's not a spring chicken anymore.
Yeah, I think this is a really fun one, Eddie. Striker versus grappler before we move on to the last contest. Do you see this one going to the distance, or do you think somebody gets somebody out of here? Because I kind of think that if Volkov keeps his fight standing, he might win it by knockout too.
He could. Like I said, people don't understand how good how powerful a really good jab is, right? You're getting sure it's like little pops, right? If you guys remember, Nick Diaz with 50% motherfuckers, and as soon as he hurt him, 100% motherfuckers were going, right? It's the same thing with the jab. With the jab, it's not in boxing. In boxing, a jab will rock your shit. All right, go fucking spar a boxer and enjoy that jab in your fucking face. That's just gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt bad. Spar an MMA guy, get hit with a jab, way different, right? So that's the deal with that. If he's to knock Jourdain Almeida out, that jab has to be flying at 1 million miles a minute, and you got to follow with the right. Boom, like pop, 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 boom. Like you got to make sure he's not just expecting this jab. That right hand needs to be there. Outside of that, maybe set up a head kick, because I think the height difference helps Volkov with that quite a bit. So it'll be there, man. But again, if you can't keep your ass off the canvas, non-starter.
Did you say which way you're going prediction here?
Oh, Almeida submission.
Submission reports as well.
As much as I like Volkov, what up, Tom? As much as I like Volkov in terms of, I think he's a good fighter. I think he's a really good fighter. But I think he's just on a lower tier under Tom Aspinall and the top whatever.
It really sucks, because right when he was hitting that stride in his career where he had the experience, he has the athleticism still, he runs into that Ciryl Gane matchup where he was screwed on the scorecards, right? So you got to feel bad for Alexander Volkov. But if he gets this one done this weekend against Jourdain Almeida, he's already got the heavyweight champion calling him out. So got to have some good matchups on the horizon for Volkov with a victory. Eddie, we've got one more matchup to talk about before we get to the prelims briefly. We have Alexander Rakic returning, the light heavyweight contender, coming off a loss. He was finished against Yuri Prohaska. He's not necessarily looked the greatest recently. Had a big injury where he was sidelined for about a year and a half with that ACL tear 2 years ago. He's fighting Aiemann Zahabi, who's older in age, Eddie, but this guy's 15-0. He doesn't have, he's like a baby Fedor. He's a combat sambo world champion. He knocks people out on the ground. He's got heavy hands. He's got the grappling to back it up as well. I'm going to take Aiemann Zahabi in this one, and I think he gets it done by finish. Alexander Rakic is a tremendous athlete, but his chin has been checked, and he has physical ailments to him with his leg that I don't know if he's necessarily overcame 100%. I'm going to take Aiemann Zahabi. We haven't seen him lose yet. Something to be said about a confidence of an undefeated fighter, especially with knockout power. Yeah. Fighting a guy in Rakic who doesn't necessarily have a strong submission game either. This, in my opinion, is going to be a striking contest, and I think Aiemann Zahabi is the more dangerous fighter.
Alexander Rakic is 33 years old. Aiemann Zahabi is 36 years old, but he looks like he's 50. All right. I hope I look like that when I'm 50. I'm 11 years away from 50. All right. As a matter, if I could look like you, bro, at 50, I'll be happy as shit. Okay. I hope someone pushes my kid at school. Gonna be like, hey, tell his dad to meet me in the parking lot. Fuck him up. Just looking like that. No, but no, you know, it's Aiemann Zahabi is a guy nobody wants to see win, but he's fucking winning. It's amazing, right? He's way better than Marcin Tybura. I never want to see Tybura fight anybody because that dude just bores the shit out of me. But Aiemann Zahabi is a fun fighter. 36 years old, looking like he's 50. First of all, you know what? I take it back. I don't for a second believe he's 36. Check that dude's birth certificate. Okay, but just like we kept saying Yao Ming back in the day, Yao Ming is not fucking. He's not a 19-year-old rookie. That guy's a 36-year-old rookie. Yeah. But you know, no, dude, it's honestly, it's maddening how fucking good he really is.
So one thing on the feet, though, Eddie, 5'10" to 6'4", right? Murzakanov does have the power. Do you think that he's gonna have a problem with the length of Rakic at all?
Sure, absolutely. But in every fight, Aiemann, Aiemann accepts, that he's gonna get cracked real hard, right? Those head kicks are coming, but Aieman's gonna be ready for it. And honestly, I can see him going for takedowns constantly, just to take him down, deal with the leg kick. And Gane was 12, and LeBron was definitely 18 when he got rigged. No, I'm just kidding. That dude.
Like the Benchwarmers movie where he's got the note with the 20,000. I am 12.
I am 12 was the funniest shit. Yeah.
All right, Eddie. Is there any fights? I'm going to take Aiemann Zahabi in this one by late round, third round knockout. I think that Rakic will put up a spirited effort for the first two rounds, and eventually Aiemann Zahabi will overwhelm him. Which way are you going in this one?
Aiemann Zahabi by decision for two reasons. One, you're just going to out-tough Rakic. And two, we're in Abu Dhabi.
Good point. If it does go to the scorecards, got to favor Aiemann Zahabi there. Eddie, is there another fight on this prelims that you think is worth mentioning that fight fans definitely don't want to miss?
The turtle. The turtle's fighting. All right, boy. This is a good-ass fight right here. No one's talking about it, but it's a good-ass fight. What else is there? This
one, Ludwig Klein, Mateusz Rebecki.
This is going to be fun.
Striker versus grappler, but Rebecki likes to bite down on the mouthpiece and come forward. I don't know if he can do it against a technical striker like Ludwig Klein, but Klein's going to have to defend those takedowns as well.
Remember when the UFC was trying to take a fight night to Abu Dhabi, and Abu Dhabi was like, what the fuck is this? Get this shit the fuck out of here. This is the response to that shit. A badass pay-per-view, okay? Like, that dude, Turkey Alex Sheik, was kind of like, oh, what the fuck is this, Dana? No, I don't want this bullshit. Like, so there's a badass fucking fight. Walker Sutherland.
Tell us a little bit about Louis Sutherland here, Eddie. Obviously, Walter Walker's been heel hooking the whole world. 3 straight submission wins, but what can fight fans expect from Louis Sutherland?
Sutherland has terrible tattoos and man titties. What the fuck, dog? Like, how are you supposed to
down from our own?
That awful tattoos and man titties? Walker by fucking heel hook. Let's go. No, dude. Honestly, Sutherland was a short notice for. Not Tuivasa, fucking Tapa, who's no longer in the roster anymore.
Coming from Scotland, I believe.
Yeah. And he was ready to go. This guy, from what I've seen, he cracks pretty good. So should be fun for the first 2 seconds, and then we'll walk.
Stances, I didn't even see it. Look at the stances. Look at the two fighters.
Yeah, bro. Man titties. What is that, bro? Why do you have? God damn it. Okay, I need an interview with Louis Sutherland. I'll be like, hey man, just heads up. Off the rip, I'm gonna ask you about your god awful tattoos, bro. Like, you gotta explain that, please. That's like a guy who his buddy was like, "Hey man, I'm a tattoo artist. Let me give you a tattoo." I have one of those right here. It's terrible. I gotta get it covered up.
Might be prison tats, Eddie. Might be prison tats.
It might be, yeah. Sutherland's built like a plus size model. Hey, half this fucking roster at this point, heavyweights. Yeah, I mean,
this guy's got to be able to crack. He looks like a lumberjack.
Chris Barnett's fighting this weekend against this dude. You telling me?
The comeback versus Egypt's own Hamdi Al-Dawahabi. I believe he's an Olympian in freestyle wrestling. He's probably going to take Chris Barnett down.
This is going to be a weird fight. Just weird, but I can't wait for it, honestly. And Chris Barnett, how the fuck do you do a front flip and land on your ass? Because look, I know how low balls hang, and that shit hurts. You out of your fucking mind. That dude, nah, dude. Anyway, but this is gonna be a fun fight for sure.
What type of shape are we going to see Chris Barnett in? We haven't seen him for a couple years.
Ooh, he's gonna look like he's in my 600-pound life, but he's gonna move like he's not. That's what he's gonna happen in this one. Okay, I know this is not a big fight at all, but I like Jacqueline Amorim. I think she's good. So I'm not saying fucking want to watch, but I am saying definitely a solid fight. Oh, what did he say? That was
hamstring this week. Oh shit, I'm clicking on the same thing.
My bad. Oh shit. Hey, my brother Robert. What up, dog? Fight Book MMA in the house.
Hey, we get to see the Chris Barnett walkout, though. He's always got a crazy walkout. And if he wins, Eddie, are you excited for the somersault flip?
I just want to ask him, but are you telling me your nuts you don't crack a nut doing that, dog? Come on, man. Kevin Holland's gonna fucking throw up when he sees it. Kevin's just gonna PTSD and say, oh fuck the hell, dude. No. So
Kevin and Cedricus Dumas kind of had the similar situation happen to him. Recently,
yeah, it's wild. Oh, hey, dude, is there any PFL anytime soon? They never tell us.
They just had Africa last week. They had some type of tournament.
Nobody knew.
Africa card.
Great promotion.
I don't know if we're gonna have another event here or what.
PFL? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just in case you want something else to watch this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, because this card is so damn early. LFA 220 from my hometown, Phoenix, Arizona, in my backyard. I will be there covering the everything on there. I already have a couple things on YouTube with Casey Tanner, who is headlining the event, and the Natividad brothers, Christian and Kevin, did a interview with both of them. Had a fucking great time with those two guys. First of all, great fucking dudes, those two. All right, I'm gonna go meet them after. Hopefully, I can go grab a beer and some sushi with these guys afterwards in the post fight celebration. But a lot of bangers in this card, and again. Understand this, folks. LFA is a feeder league into the UFC, so you're not going to get big name kind of guys. But if you want to see some guys that are ready to fucking scrap and should be in the UFC, please, for the love of God, tune in to LFA 220. It's going to be
probably dope. 3 or 4 of them will end up on the Contender Series next year.
Oh, easily. Casey Tanner. Look, if Casey Tanner wins this fight, all right, that guy's been like a step away. I mean, they've been telling him for years we're one fight away. If he wins this fight, especially if he gets a finish, make Sean, y'all better call him. That guy's ready. Do not let Don Davis steal this motherfucker, please.
Make sure to tune in for LFA this weekend. We're also going to have coverage from Abu Dhabi for the UFC Fight Night, for the UFC pay-per-view this weekend as well. We will catch you guys next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. We'll bring you any breaking news and analysis from this pay-per-view card next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. See you guys then. Appreciate your time.
Fuck the government.